Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, what's unsolicited advice? Take it or leave it.
Men have bad experiences with women as well, right?
Of course.
So let's say a guy is doing everything for a woman. He's being chivalrous. He's doing X, Y, and Z, taking care of everything, right, for a woman. And she does him wrong. Now, is he valid to go out into the world and be like, damn, you know what? I got done. Because women love to get done by one man and now judge all men. Is it okay for that one man to get done wrong by that woman and be like, you know what? Now I'm not going to be a gentleman. I'm not going to be supportive. I'm not going to be a leader because the last woman, she took advantage of that. Is that acceptable?
I don't think women do that shit off of one experience.
Right.
I think it's like multiple, like it happens all the time.
Okay,
Like,
men
like,
get multiple bad experiences as well.
Yeah, as a whole, that
happens
just needs
more
to
than one
be.
time.
We gotta
It's like,
find a
alright,
way
I'm not
where
even
black women
know
and
it.
black men could come back together, because I'm hating the fact that it's always team A, team B.
It's hard to decide which one is right or wrong. But technically, they're both right. You know, when it comes to double standards, they're both right. You know, it's not fair on both sides. But hopefully I can break it down for you today. It's cold outside, and my eyes hurt because I've been up all night. So excuse me for how I'm looking right now. My voice might be a little scratchy, but you know, I'll get some rest later. But I wanted to come on here today and talk about double standards. Double standards are often rooted in unconscious bias, you know, stereotypes. Some double standards are ingrained in, like, you know, our culture. And, you know, most people unknowingly adhere to them. You know, they kind of live by them. Double standards, of course, are rules and principles that you apply to one group of people, you know, without proper justification. Men and women both face double standards in many areas of their lives, you know, but if we can start off, I guess, the right way, we will start off with women first. We'll, you know, ladies first. And we'll talk about some of the double standards that they deal with. And we'll try to break some things down a little bit more. I'd say the number one thing with women is beauty. Women are expected to be, you know, skinny, tall, you know, fair-skinned. You know, nowadays, you know, for women, you have to have the perfect everything. And the funny thing about that is a lot of them will tell you, you know, this is what men want. This is what y'all like. You know, y'all will sit there and like pics all day. It's like, have you ever talked to a man? You know, most women will tell you some of the stuff that y'all obsess over don't matter to us. You don't have to like it, but it's just the truth. You know, it might not even sound right to you or correct, but it's the truth. Like, most of the stuff don't matter. Everybody has a preference. Yeah, men do like skinny women. Some of them like, you know, big women, women that are physically fit, you know, more tone to them. You know, some guys just like, you know, a thick country girl, you know, ain't necessarily fat, but just, you know, thick and soft in all the right places. But the beauty with women, yes, it can be a big stereotype because they face more pressure than men do. Men are allowed to be, you know, less attractive in a way, and people aren't necessarily judging them. Now, I will say, I mean, it still sucks for a guy, you know, if he doesn't feel as attractive as the next guy, but usually that don't stop his confidence. Most of them are gonna carry themselves like they can still, you know, do what they need to do. But for women, that is a big double standard that they deal with, is beauty. But I will say a lot of times they're just in competition with themselves. Men don't care. We don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. You know, if a woman look good to us, they look good. You can be at the gas station with a bonnet on and some flip-flops and, you know, jogging pants and, you know, no makeup or whatever. You would rather us tell you fine right then and there than you get all dolled up, because we would rather see you in your natural state. not, you know, made up and everything. I want to know what you look like when we wake up in the morning, you know, on a regular day when you're not feeling so good. So start taking those compliments. If a guy come up to you and you're not feeling your best and he's still, you know, telling you you look good or you're gorgeous or you're beautiful, take that shit, you know. I wish a girl would come up to me when I'm not feeling so well and telling me, damn, you know, you look good. That's gonna make me feel good. Shoot, I might, you know, I'm gonna perk up. I might work overtime that day just because somebody told me that. You know, but yeah, you know, that's, you know. But another thing that women deal with that is the double standard is, you know, the work environment. You know, women often expected to do, you know, light work, you know, while men are expected to work harder. You know, women's communication is also evaluated differently. You know, if women are assertive, they try to say that they're bossy or bitchy. And it's, you know, it's a double standard, you know. For most women, they have to work hard to get to the position that they're in. They have to show that they can, you know, hang with the boys, as they say. You know, but they have to improve themselves a little bit more in certain work areas and certain job areas. Not all job areas, but certain ones where it's male and female competition. You know, there's a lot of double standards to say, oh, well, you know, you just go over there and you handle the paperwork. I'll do the hard stuff over here because I'm a man. I got to do this and that, which is not fair because some women want to hold their weight too in that situation. They want to help out and do the hard stuff too. So we try to treat them like they're damsels in distress, and they're not. Now, some girls, they do lean into it and they like not having to do nothing at work. But the ones that work hard and want to earn their way up the ladder, they have to deal with stuff like that. I've been around girls that are very assertive, and some of them can come off, you know, bitchy or bossy. But I think in their mind, it's like, no, I'm trying to be assertive because I don't want somebody to run over me. So, you know, you can understand that where they're coming from when it comes to that. But a lot of them deal with that. So another thing, if we're going to talk about that is a double standard for women, is the cost of things, money, you know, spending money, or what they like to call a pink tax, you know, the color pink, a pink tax. So female products are often more expensive than masculine products. They call it a pink tax. So, you know how girls can go find a nice little outfit at like Ross and TJ Maxx for fucking little to nothing. They probably can find a whole outfit for like $20 to where once we get through putting something together, it's closer to $100 if we want it to look decent. For women, they can find something very stylish, little to no cost, you know. I've seen girls go into, you know, City Trends or Rainbow and come out with a fit, you know, that I wouldn't expect came from there and look just like any other store. But for a guy, you can't hide, you know, you can't hide what it looks like. But as far as feminine products are way more expensive than male products. You know, for certain reasons, like, you know, most guys are low maintenance. You know, we just want something that's going to clean our bodies and, you know, when we out the door. For women, they have, you know, you got to think about the makeup, the, you know, time of the month products, you know, certain things that they use, that they need, cost more because they know the women need it, you know, whether it's their makeup, whether it's the lipstick, you know, whether it's, like I said, feminine hygiene, any type of feminine product, you know, they put a pink tax on it because they know the women are going to buy it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. And the thing about women is, you know, a guy will go just buy whatever deodorant we see. Yeah, I'm going to get this right here. For women buy quality. So they're only going to buy a certain thing. They will not go and buy something off brand. Because most things, most women are sensitive, especially, you know, down there. They can't use certain products, even underarms, hair, you know, skincare. They have to make sure that they're buying quality and buying the exact thing. So these companies, they put a pink tax on that stuff, you know, to where ours, they don't do that. So like I said, the pink tax is like, it's almost like an extra tax on it because they know the women are going to buy a certain product because they have to have it, you know. And any of y'all that got a woman, you know, you got a woman in your life, or, you know, you got a daughter or a sister or a mom, whatever, Go and talk to them about that. They'll tell you, or you already see it. They'll tell you straight up, that's not the one I told you to get. I told you to get this one. That one, I'll break out in a rash. That one gave me a UTI or whatever. It's just, but yeah. Another thing that is a double standard is hobbies that people have, So for women, some hobbies are considered boy things, and women are prevented from participating in them, like football. Like if your daughter come up and say, I want to play football. If you're a dad, part of you is proud, another part is, I don't want my baby girl to get hurt. Some girls are just tomboys. They love playing sports. The guys, they love it. But there's such a double standard to say, oh, well, we don't want you to get hurt. Or, you can't hang with the guys. It's not about whether they can hang or not. Let them do it. If that's something they want to do, you let them find out on their own and make their own decision. So, it's just, that's just part of it. It's just I've always, I paused for a second because I always thought it was weird. It's like, hey, I had a girl on my basketball team. I had a young lady. She wanted to play basketball. I let her play with the boys. She wanted to play for me. I let her play with me. I let her be on the team. And she was just as good as the rest of them. I started her in everything. She was just as good. I didn't have to put her on the bench. She was smart. Because, most girls, even at a young age, they mature faster than boys. But, so, like I said, they're treated differently. So, okay, so you remember like Serena Williams, she was penalized a game for calling the chair umpire a thief. But those guys will cuss out those umpires during the tennis game and won't get in no trouble. You even see the coaches on the sideline. She didn't say anything. She just said that he was a thief because he had stole points from her during the game. But, she had got penalized and everything because it's like women aren't allowed to be expressive. It's weird. It's weird. Another thing that's a double standard is child rearing. So, women face, double standards when it comes to child rearing. So, because men don't do that. We can't have kids. So, there's so much that we put on women and we forget that that's the one thing that we can't do. That's the one thing God blessed them with that we can never duplicate. But there's such a double standard with that. And it's not fair towards women. It's not fair at all. Another thing is sex life. Women face double standards, based on the amount of, as they say, the amount of bodies that they have. So the amount of sex partners that they have, they get, they get crucified. Whereas when a man talks, it's like, oh, okay, he that dude. The girls love him. They want to be with him. Because it goes back to the olden days, way back. It was always said that women are supposed to always be ladies. And I stick to that. I would prefer you to be that way. You're more likely to get more respect, I always say it's, you should just be able to count it on one hand. Let's say if you're in your early 20s, maybe this many, just 3. You get into your 30s, right there. You should always come to a stop right then and there. That's when, once you get to 5, that's when you're like, okay, you know what? Whoever I date next, that's it. That's my man. But that's just me. That's just my preference. I think that, that would be good, because you always want to put a premium on who you are and your body. You want to put a premium on that. Nobody can say anything. I don't care about what these other girls are doing. And I know it's not fair, because that's why we're talking about it. It's a double standard. And it isn't fair. A woman should be liberated. She should be allowed to do whatever she wants to do. But trust me, men face the same type of backlash, especially nowadays. They'll call a nigga a hoe in a minute. No problem. No problem at all. But it's not fair. Women should be able to be liberated and go out here and sleep with whoever they want to. But the reason why guys say it is because, trust me, most guys prefer you not to have those bodies. You have way more quality and value the less people you've been with, because the guy's going to view that as, okay, that's premium right there. And you're more likely to get way more respect. The guy is going to watch how he talks around you, how he acts around you. All that stuff matters. Social interactions. There's a double standard with social interactions. For women, they say it all the time, women aren't allowed to have male friends, right? And we'll get to the guys in a minute, but it's a double standard because, women aren't allowed to have male friends because, in people's minds, like, a guy will tell you, ain't no guy gonna hang around you and be your friend just to be your friend. No, he obviously had feelings for you at some point, and he realized you put him in the friend zone. So all he doing is just biding his time. He's waiting on whatever dude is acting up around you, and he gonna swoop through, with the flowers and the Chick-fil-A and the bucket of ice cream to make you feel better or whatnot. He's just gonna come through trying to do everything right. But women aren't allowed to socialize, it's a double standard. Guys like to hang out with their friends, but if a woman hangs out with her friends, the guy gonna be like, oh, why are you hanging out with her? Everybody knows she a hoe, or everybody knows she single and she ain't got no man. She's just gonna drag you down with him. It's a lot of different things that guys will say to keep you from hanging out and socializing. What you going to the club for? We together now. There's no reason for you to go to the club. And the club is one of those things that's different. That's a whole different story. It just depends. If you knew your girl went to the club a lot when y'all met, then that's just something that you're gonna have to have a conversation with when y'all decide to be together. You got to come up with an understanding first, but it can't be a double standard. You can't get mad at her for going out, but yet as soon as you get off work, you want to go to your friend's house before you come home to your woman. It just is what it is. But those are just, a couple of things. There's plenty, but I ain't gonna get into every last one of them. I'm just trying to break down the main ones. But those are the main ones for women. It's beauty. Beauty usually, the work life, the cost of things, their hobbies. Like sports and stuff, child rearing, having babies. There's a double standard with that. Their sex life and the social interactions. That's usually the main ones for women. But I didn't want to get too, deep into every little thing. But for men, there's a double standard. I say the main thing is the emotional expression, or what do they call it? Emotionally, I forgot the new term that they use. But they want you to be, emotionally intelligent or something. I forgot what you call it. But, men are often discouraged from openly expressing emotions, like sadness or fear, or because we feel like we're going to be labeled weak or unmanly if we do so. While women may be given more leeway for expressing a wider range of emotions. We equate emotions with females. A guy is always supposed to be stoic. We're never supposed to show our hand. We're never supposed to, have an emotional breakdown. We're supposed to always keep it together, be the rock. We're just supposed to be problem solvers and have a solution. We can never come to somebody and confide and say, I don't know what to do, or I don't have it, or, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's such a double standard because we allow, women to pour themselves out. They get on talk shows, they go around their friends, wherever it is. And I guarantee you, when a woman opens up to someone, she has plenty of other people that are either understand what she's going through, or will champion, her plight at that time. For a guy, it's very rare. Like, you can try to open up to your homeboys, but they're probably going to make light of it and be like, oh man, you be all right, man. Stop being soft, nigga. It just depends on what type of friends you got. Some dudes, yeah. Some friends, they be like, hey man, it's going to be all right. I went through the same thing. But for the most part, they try to joke. Because even they go through it too, where they're afraid to show their emotions. So they ain't going to show it around another dude. So now you're trying to go home and tell your girl. But, not every girl is You can't trust every girl to tell, you know, your emotions to, because they will use that. You know, it's almost like they so used to you being strong and stoic, they finally found your kryptonite, so they just keep it in that holster. And then the day you piss them off, that's the day they're gonna throw it at you. And Anthony Hamilton had a song. I think it was on his second album. It's called "Never Love Again." That song is a perfect example of what a man does once you put him in their headspace. It's like, I can't love again. I can't trust again, because my one moment of weakness, and I'm opening up to you because you're my girl and I'm supposed to trust you, and you know, you betray it. It's like, man, I can't trust nobody. You know, if I can't trust you, you know, fuck everybody. I'm not, you know, I'm gonna be cold motherfucker from here on out. Asshole number one. That's what I'm gonna be from here on out. Fuck this. You know, love will get you killed. That's how a guy starts thinking, man. Fuck love. And then that's how you trust me, that's how you create a cheater. That's usually when the cheating starts, because in his mind, he already sees, you know, fuck it. She already showed me how she feels. So if I cheat, it's whatever. You know, whatever. You know, I want to be with her. I got love for her. Maybe she'll change, but, you know, if I crash out and be reckless, oh well. You know, it ain't like anything else is going on. But that's usually, you know, when it's a double standard. We can't show emotions. Our physical appearance, you know, women are held to a strict beauty standard, but men are more judged, you know, for their appearance. You know, you gotta maintain a certain level of muscularity, physical fitness, height. You know, you gotta be handsome. That's another story there might be another video I'll do, because I never understood what's the difference between like handsome and fine, because, you know, I'd rather somebody say that I'm fine. I don't want somebody saying I'm handsome. You can tell a little boy he's handsome because he got his Easter outfit on, but I want you to say I'm fine because I'm a grown man. But yeah, you expect it to be, you know, tall, dark, and handsome, pretty much. You expect to have it all. So earlier, like when I was talking about women and their appearances, you know, their body, even though there's a double standard, it doesn't really matter for a guy. We don't care about the stretch marks or the little, you know, the little extra fat you might have on you. If a guy is feeling you and he all up on you, you can run with that. For a man, it's a no-go. A girl ain't gonna give you no play if she ain't feeling you. So your physical appearance, you know, how you groom, how you carry yourself, everything matters, because a girl will dish you quick. She'll just tell you, I ain't interested in you. She's not gonna give you the attention that she's gonna give that guy, the other guy, attention. So there is a double standard when it comes to that. It's not fair, but it's just the way of the world, you know. Physical attraction is physical attraction. Sexual behavior. So this one is probably the most controversial. It's 2025 and sexual behavior is at an all-time high right now. But a sexual double standard in the behavior, you know, is where men are often praised for having multiple sexual partners, while women might be stigmatized with the same behavior. So once you incorporate that, then we talk about how it's not okay for a guy to be over-sexual, you know, because then he's not being faithful, or he's not showing characteristics of being a gentleman. But yet it's okay for women to flaunt what they have and exude sexuality, because of course everybody wants to see it, but also because it's, you know, it's almost like it's a given. It's like, oh, well, you know, that's just women showing their, you know, femininity and sexuality. But if a man is too sexual, or he takes that as an advance, you know, it's like, oh man, you know, she's, you know, look at them shorts she got on, you know, she's showing everything. I'm gonna go over there and holler at her. You know, when a girl tell you, oh, don't talk to me, you know, no, don't come around me, you know, oh, don't touch me. It's like, well, you putting it out there. So, you know, you have to be careful with that, you know. But if a guy does it, or if he comes off as being, you know, too sexual, like I said, it's not right. But if a woman does it, then it's just liberation. You know, it's weird. I'm telling you, it just makes no sense. But Another thing that's a double standard with men, and it's also it also plays into another thing that's just not fair, is the career expectations. So men might be expected to prioritize work and career, you know, career advancement above all else, facing pressure to be the primary breadwinner. Whereas, you know, women are given more flexibility to balance work and family life. You know, growing up, you always used to hear, you know, once you turn 18, you got to get out of my house. So it used to be, you was conditioned to try to figure things out early. Even when I'm in high school, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life. You know, whereas I would always, you know, because you can't live with your parents. You know, you can't live with your mom and dad. But you see so many women living with their parents while they're going through school, getting help while they're going through school. I'm not saying all, but most are. You know, most parents, especially nowadays, even with the young boys now, parents are allowing them to stay home, you know, while they figure out what they're going to do. But in reality, you know, you got to figure it out quick. For guys, we have to figure everything out quick. How am I going to be a breadwinner? How am I going to do what I need to do so I show the attributes of being a real man? Not a real nigga, but a real man. It's a double standard because women are allowed to have more time and more flexibility to figure things out, you know. And for some in their household, they're being groomed to catch a man, to make sure that they don't have to lift a finger or do anything. So they're just out, you know, trying to maintain their pretty or maintain their figure. So whereas a man, it's a double standard because we don't get those same, you know, we don't get afforded that. You know, some guys, they go and be, you know, little boy toys or little sugar babies. You know, they might go up the road to Atlanta, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like that at one point when I was a little younger. You know, I didn't mind, you know, older lady taking care of me, let's do it. So, working, you know, you got to figure out how to be a breadwinner. You got to figure out how you're going to have the money and the cars and the house, everything in your name. You got to think about that. We have to have all of that in our name, plus paying the bills, plus, you know, doing everything before we even consider having or finding a mate. So it's a double standard because a woman can come with nothing but just a regular old job, and she just looks beautiful and pretty to a man, and he's not asking no questions like, hey, you know, how come you ain't got your own place? You ain't got a car? I can't talk to you. Because we're not thinking about that. We just think you're pretty and we want to take you out and we want to spend time with you. To whereas, you know, women get more time to figure things out. The clock is always ticking for a guy. We cannot take breaks. Now, you do have some guys that go and live with their mom and daddy, you know, and go lay up on the couch or whatever, you know, because they're not trying to do too much, you know. But if you are you know, an everyday guy or everyday man, it's crucial for you to try to figure it out. And there's a double standard. You know, you don't get much time on the clock to figure it out. And the last thing, and I touched on this earlier, but there's a double standard when being vulnerable or asking for help. So, you know, most women are discouraged, you know, to ask for help because, like I say, it comes off as being weak, or, you know, it's like, you know, you're an able-bodied man, you can just go out there and work, you know. What you mean you know, you can't get the job you want? McDonald's is hiring, you know, or, you know, if you just down on your luck and you just don't have the money, it's hard as a man to humble yourself and go ask for help when all people have been drilling your head is that you're a man, you need to figure it out, you know. And then, you know, you see so many people commit suicide, or you see so many people, you know, just willing to, you know, hit rock bottom and let it all go because of fear of having to ask for help. You know, it can be seen as, you know, more readily allowed to express for women than it is for men. Women can say it, even though you do have a lot of single moms out there that don't, you know, they're not going to ask for help. But for women to ask for help, the first thing people say is, oh, you know, you should have already asked me for that. Now, I know a lot of women have to be careful because they don't want to have to owe men certain things just because they helped them. So I get that part. But for the most part, you know, a woman can go to a shelter and just be like, especially if they got their kids, and be like, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. And boom, you know, you come here at 8 in the morning, we will make sure that we get you assistance with your light bill. We make sure, you know, you get your bills paid and, you know, your rent paid and all this other stuff. It's such a polarizing thing when we talk about double standards, because double standards is something that we came up with, that we tell people that is law. It's not something that's, you know, on a contract or something. It's not a right. It's not a constitution. It's just, you know, it's an unspoken word. That's all that double standards are unspoken words. It's somebody telling you, hey, this is just the way it is. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the way that it is, because we should all have a better understanding, you know, of what the other gender is going through. Okay? For men, we have to understand that, you know, women are going through a lot when it comes to double standards, and we can't be that guy that stops them from spreading their wings and flying, you know. And for women, you have to remember that there are double standards for men too. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we go through that you don't have to go through, that sometimes you forget. Like I said, it's a war out there. When a guy steps foot out of that door, it's a war. And you have to be thankful that he comes home every day, you know, that he knows his way back home and he's showing up at home on time, you know, and he's not out all night, or he's not locked up somewhere, he's not dead, or, you know, the world ain't just been beating him down all day at work. You know, but there's double standards with everything, you know. So my advice is that we just have to learn to understand each other. It all goes back to understanding and support, okay? But as always, that's just my unsolicited advice. You can take it or leave it.